I don't wake up at any impressive time. Roughly 8:30 a.m. every day. No earlier, no later. Getting dressed is a certain sacred act for me. It's very simple and private. My fashion sense is one thing that I've always been very confident on. Something that has always been me. And no matter where I go, people seem to know when something is me, something that I might wear. And that's just one thing that I've learned to love about myself. The key for me in the morning is not waking up at 5 a.m. and running. It's taking those moments, even if just a second, and finding the divinity in that. Cleaning and cooking are some of the most sacred acts I have ever experienced. I've struggled a lot with cooking in general, food, and finding the way to honor my hunger and to honor my body has been very healing and connected me to Hestia and Demeter and the spirits of the land. I pray over every cup of tea that I make, simple, quiet. And it grounds me. No, even though I live in a city, I see the sacredness all around me. The forsythias, the hyacinths, the rain. It's all a part of the same sacred cycle. I like to take the long way to work if I can, walking as much as I can, getting to experience the world around me. Once I'm at work, I like to relish in my little rituals. Taking off my shoes, putting on slippers, making myself coffee or tea, checking in on what needs to be done for the day, and looking out the window and just watching the world move around me. When I'm at work, I like to honor the ancestors of a place, and Athena Ergrane, which to me is Athena of the seamstresses. They have done the work before me, and so I will honor them and how they show up in my life, even though it's quiet. Okay, here I am, set up at work. I'll tell you a little secret. Actually been set up at work for a little while now. I'm technically filming this during when I'm supposed to be like taking a break for a month. And like I am taking a break for a month, but I am usually not alone in the store So I figured that if I was ever going to have a good opportunity to film a sort of day in my life type video, that I could easily film in here where I could get all the shots I wanted and not, worry about other people, like my coworkers being in the background, that it was going to have to be today. And of course I chose the rainiest day. Part of me, whenever I sit down to try to think a day in the life of yesterday, I just did a big ritual with my housemate where we went and we planted a bunch of flowers, and I'm like, oh, well, I should have been filming this day, I should have been filming that day. The reality is there's no real typical day, right? There's the rub, there is no singular, my days are all pretty unique for the most part. I don't know, I do lots of different things. I have so many different hobbies. This month alone, I'm gonna go LARPing. So excited. This is our second event back in person, and I just love it so much. So by the time this video comes out, I'll have done that, and I'm very excited. I'm really lucky, so I get to go to work, and I make offerings to the area that I live in, and especially this area where I work. A lot of seamstresses, a lot of seamstresses. Some of my ancestors were immigrant seamstresses who were notoriously treated horribly, and this area is full of them. It's full of their spirits here. I actually have part of my ancestor altar at home as part of them because I consider them my ancestors of profession, because they literally they did this work before me, and I'm really, really lucky, and that I have an amazing boss. And seamstresses are still and have historically been some of the the worst treated workers. Still the case today. All of your fast fashion is made by slave labor. So I'm really, really lucky that I get to be a seamstress and also be able to have a life and earn a living. Well, what is a living wage anymore? But I make my living doing this. And it's funny, people are like, oh, do you ever get tired? Do you tired of sewing your own clothes? I'm like, no, I love it. I am lucky here when I sew, I get to watch YouTube. I'm actually watching a YouTube video before I start filming this. Sometimes I wish that this job was just a little bit closer. It takes me about an hour and a half each way, so 3 hours total commuting every day. So I kind of bring my spirituality to work. I mean, you saw me, I pray over my tea every day. That's something I do every day. And oftentimes when I'm stitching, I will pray to Athena Ergane, who is work people, and specifically Athena workers. Now, they didn't have sewing like we do in ancient Greece, so I consider her still the goddess of seamstresses. Yeah, you can find mysticism where you are. Look at Ancestors of Place, and one of my favorite things is micro history and hyper local history, which is part of the reason why I don't really share my ancestral practice online, because I don't really feel comfortable sharing the hyper locality of me. But there's so much history, just the locals. And now continue working. For a long time, I used to wish I was one of those pagans who would do these large, elaborate rituals and spend my days in this sort of divine ecstasy, but I'm just a girl living her life in this world. And I realized that the longer that I struggled to make myself someone that I was not, that it harmed my practice, and that I ultimately would burn out and fall away. So I found ways to integrate it into my life. Praying over my food, praying over my drink, taking tiny little moments, not stolen but set aside, for myself, for my gods, for my spirit. To me, sewing is a meditation. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. But I'm not gonna kid anyone. I watch YouTube, I listen to podcasts. I don't spend every moment of my life practicing because I don't feel that I need to, because it's so much a part of my life, that my life lives and breathes my spirit. Mindfulness is not binary. It's sort of spectrum. Some days I'm very mindful and I listen to the voice that tells me to take off my headphones and look around. And other times, I tune out the world. I call friends, play video games, go to parties. And even though it's so mundane, to me, it's wrapped up in the fabric of my life. And though it feels infinitesimally small, just a moment, a fraction of a moment, a word, a phrase, a feeling evoked, that's where the divine is. And when I come home, I don't launch into prayers or writings. I clean, I cook, I relax, and I let it be. Oh, kids are wondering what I do. Oh, he's purring. What I do most of the day, the evening, it's 10:23. I do this. I just sit here. Because how can I do anything else? How can I do anything else? Most of my evening is spent eating, cleaning. I don't know. I guess that's what like daily life is. Like it's not like astral projecting to Mount Olympus or something. Like ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, I just live my life. You know, it's not like I'm doing big rituals every single day, like a regular person. I just pray over my food. I imbue little bits of magic into the everyday. There's lots of charms on my door. So reading on the train, some books that I've been meaning to read for a while. Cleaning is sacred. Cooking is sacred. All of that. That's where the gods are. I'm gonna let bedtime fall. Take it over from here. Here. Wow, it's like blowing almost. Tonight? I don't always have time to do what I'm doing here, reading the Homeric hymns, but I try, even just small words whispered to the gods in moments of quietude, to thank them for all that they do in my life. I hope that whatever time it is for you, morning, afternoon, night, that you can find ways to let the divine into your mundane. Because you might find that it's not so mundane after all.